What's going on, everyone? Abel Limas here with Mind Business. Everyone should know the Golden Arches, McDonald's, of course. Hey, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about McDonald's and their actual franchise system. Of course, if you're starting to actually try to start a business, one of the ways you can do it is actually start your own business. Of course, start from scratch. Another way is actually to get into a franchise, system, and actually work with the company that's already been established. And so, I actually want to talk about McDonald's. McDonald's does have the opportunity to actually become a franchise owner with them, and so let's just get to it. So the ticker symbol, of course, McDonald's is a public company, meaning they trade publicly. Of course, their finances is all available online for us to go take a look, see how they're doing year to year. But their ticker symbol is actually MCD. You can go to finance.yahoo.com and type in MCD, and you'd actually see the McDonald's Corporation stock right there. So to start off, McDonald's, the actual McDonald's, the hamburger stand, the McDonald's brothers was actually started in 1940. Fast forward, the Ray Kroc was actually a milkshake vendor salesman. So he actually, in 1954, he actually, milkshake mixers, he actually went to California because there was a business that kept on ordering a whole bunch of milkshake mixers all at once. So there was one particular company, they ordered 8 at a time. And so he had to go check it out. So he went to California, and what do you know? He runs into the McDonald's brothers. And so there was something he had never seen before. Of course, Ray Kroc, he had been in sales for a while. You know, he did door to door, did a lot of things over the years. But he had never seen anything like what the McDonald's brothers actually created. They essentially created the assembly line of fast food as we know it today. Okay, so it was mind blowing. Now that we go, I don't know if you ever worked at a fast food spot like McDonald's or Jack in the Box, Wendy's, all that. They have their systems in place. They have everything in order. But McDonald's brothers, they were pretty much the disruptors in this. When it took a regular mom and pop stand to only serve one hamburger, it took so long to serve a hamburger. They were able to serve many people in a fairly quickly amount of time because of the design and the assembly line, pretty much what they came out with. So fast forward, Ray was very impressed, and so he actually convinced the McDonald's brothers to actually to help create the franchises. And so that actually started in 1955. The franchising actually came about. And so in 1955, Ray actually opened up his first. Now, there's really two different types of McDonald's in this situation here. Of course, you have the McDonald's brothers, but they're one location. But when Ray got the rights to actually create the franchises for McDonald's, he opened his up 1955 in Des Plaines, Illinois. That was the first McDonald's franchise there. And so pretty much fast forward to now, I don't want to go to the backstory of Ray Kroc and what happened with the McDonald's brothers. There's a movie. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but the founder actually goes over Ray Kroc and the McDonald's brothers and what happened there. I definitely think you should go check that out. It's a great movie. But let's say you wanted to go ahead and you wanted to go into business with McDonald's. You wanted to open up a franchise with McDonald's. Of course, they sell billions every day. This is what you're pretty much looking at here. You're looking at the financial requirements. Your initial investment is going to be around $1.2 million, anywhere between $1.2 million to $2.2 million. So that's your initial investment. Okay, liquid cash requirement, meaning this money's in the bank and it's in liquid form. It's very accessible. You can actually reach it and take it. It's not tied up in real estate or anything like that. You need about $500,000, $500,000 in liquid cash assets. Okay. Now the initial franchise fee, when you go into the franchise, they're gonna want money right up front. McDonald's right up front initial franchise fee is $45,000. They also have an ongoing royalty fee, right? So this is a ongoing royalty fee annually, about 4%. It's 4% of what you earn, right? So 4% of whatever's going on as far as your revenue. And of course, they also have an ad royalty fee. Now, this financial requirement is for McDonald's. Not every franchise system has these requirements. Some might not have an ad royalty. Some might not have an ongoing royalty. Some might have an initial franchise fee that costs about $5,000, $10,000. But this is financial requirement for McDonald's since 2019, right? 2020. So So initial investment 1.2 to 2.2 million, liquid cash requirement $500,000, initial franchise fee 45,000, ongoing royalty fee 4%, ad royalty fee 4% plus. So just imagine, instead of actually, if you're self-employed, if you're your own business, your own boss, you actually have to come up with the creatives to run ads. You actually have to go out and pay for mailers, right? To send people postcards in the mail. You have to actually do all that advertising. With McDonald's, you just pay this 4%, and of course they're doing all the advertising going on TV, on your radio, when you pass the billboard, all those good things. They're doing that for you, so that's why you have that 4%. So, having that brand recognition does go a long way. But of course, McDonald's is smart. They're not gonna let you get away with that for free. Okay. And so what comes up when you get this, when you go inside this franchise system? Of course, there's going to be ongoing support from the actual McDonald's corporation. There's going to be marketing support, where I just mentioned. Of course, there's going to be branding everywhere. I mean, sometimes they're in stadiums, whatever the case may be. They're doing that for you. So they also have on-the-job training. They have about 500 hours that you have to go through on-the-job training. You don't have to know anything about fast food, because they will train you as long as you meet these requirements here. Of course, you have to submit the application. They have to accept you. Of course, it's not just okay, you meet these requirements, they're gonna let you in. But when they do let you in, rest assured they're gonna be 500 hours on-the-job training, and then 72 hours of classroom training. They even have I want to say they have a McDonald's University. I'm pretty sure that's where you get your on-the-job training, classroom training. On-job, they actually put you in a location to train on. So moving back to over here. So this is pretty much gonna go over the types of when you go to a McDonald's, when you walk into a McDonald's, there's pretty much, is it owned by the actual corporation, McDonald's, or is it owned by a franchise owner, right? And so I was looking at some numbers here back in 2010, right? A decade ago, 10 years ago, back in 2010, corporation-owned McDonald's was about 6,399. And the U.S. franchise, the franchise owner, family. I know some families in the area, they own several McDonald's, but that in 2020 was 12,477. So 12,477 McDonald's were owned by franchise owners. Okay, non-U.S. franchise, so not in the United States, franchises out of the United States, 13,861. All right, so come up in 2013, corporation owned 6,642, went up a little bit. 12,678 for U.S. franchises, went up about 200 there, and for non-U.S. franchises, 15,573. That was about almost 2,000 franchises opened out of the United States within 3 years here. And then 2015, 6,444 corporation owned. It actually took a dip from 2013. U.S. franchise, 12,899. I mean, it's going very, very slow as far as U.S. franchises. It increased about a little over 200 in stores. And then for 2015, non-U.S. franchises, 17,182. It did another jump of almost 2,000 there, so 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. And that was from 2013 to 2015. Now, 2019, last year, I want you to take a look at this. It went from, the corporation owned went from 6,444 to 2,647. Okay, U.S. franchise owned went from 12,899 to 13,226. Okay, so about a little almost 400 right there, additional in that 4 years. And then non-U.S. franchises from 17,182 in 2015 to 22,235. I'm just looking into the numbers. Like, I didn't go too deep into these numbers here. Sure, we can find that information, but what I'm thinking of, since it's from the non-U.S. franchise point of view, it increased in 2010 2013 by almost 2,000. 2013 2015, almost 2,000. From 2015 to 2019, which is 4 years, that increased a little over 5,000. A little over 5,000. 2,000, 2,000, and 5,000. As you can see here, the corporation owned dropped almost 4,000 in those 4 years. So what I'm wondering is if the corporation actually owned outside of the United States, and then those 4,000 that they got to let go of, if they gave them to franchise owners. It's definitely something I want to continue digging a little bit deeper about to try to find that information out. But yeah, those are the numbers. So obviously, of course, corporation-owned corporations. I mean, that's actually a very smart move with McDonald's. They don't have to worry about the entire stores themselves. If you got people paying you 4% ongoing royalty fees, 4% ad royalty fee, and you got them having initial franchise fees of $45,000. I mean that makes sense how they're kind of offloading all their corporation-owned businesses and letting the franchise owners take over. Very smart move from their play. Well, we'll see what happens next year and the year after. See if they can continue that. But that's pretty much it. We also have the what happened back in 2018 over here. The revenue in 2018 for McDonald's as a whole, $21 billion. The net income was about $5.9 billion. Total assets, $32.8 billion. Number of employees, around 210,000. So, and this is just a rough overview of the McDonald's franchise here. But if you have the capital, if you have financial requirements, do something like this, and you want something that's been already tried and tested and has success. McDonald's, who doesn't know about the golden arches? Who doesn't know about this? A lot of people know about this. And as we can see here, there's a lot of opportunity outside of the U.S. since we see the massive growth that's taken for about almost a little over 10 years here. About 10 years, we had a shot of almost 10,000 additional locations outside the United States, and that's pretty much it. I want to do several more of these. Let me know if y'all have any franchise systems that y'all want me to review. This is our first one, McDonald's. We have to do McDonald's. Of course, they pretty much created the fast food assembly line that we know of today, and they're still innovative. I'm not sure if you've noticed. Now when you walk into, not all, most of the McDonald's I've been walking into, you actually don't have anybody serving you or trying to take your order anymore. They've put in these big screens where you can order off of. And so whenever I try to pay on the counter, go use the touch screen. And take me go use the touch screen, I have to use it. It's like a big huge iPad that I have to use. But I think they're leading that way. I mean, they're making everything automated. They're gonna get rid of. I think they're gonna trim down some of these employees that they have here, especially if you're no longer gonna need somebody to take someone's order. Everybody's so used to screens and touching those screens. So that's they're one of the first ones I've seen doing that, and of course the others are gonna follow suit. I'm pretty sure Burger King's gonna get on top of them with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, one of their best strategies, one of their best things that the actual McDonald's corporation did, as we know, the Happy Meal. That was like a very, very strong power play of the Happy Meal. So of course, the kids loved them, right? And now the kids that grew up with those Happy Meals, guess where they're gonna take their kids? They're gonna take to McDonald's and get the Happy Meal. And so McDonald's is a very, very strong company. Like I said, if you have the financial requirements and you want to try to take on what it's about, how to handle McDonald's, 500 hours of training, or 72 hours in the classroom training. You're dealing with a revenue of $21 billion, net income of $5.9 billion, total assets $32.8 billion. I want to say that McDonald's knows what they're doing. All right. So again, my name is Abel Limas. This is the franchise overview of McDonald's here in 2020. And if you don't want to start your own business, why don't you get a business that's been proven?